The man standing in front of my desk puffed out his chest. His suit was expensive, but it couldn't hide the cheapness of his attitude. "I'm not asking, I'm telling you," he said, his voice a low growl that was meant to be intimidating. "After the disgraceful service I've received, I expect a complimentary upgrade, the best you have." I looked at him, my face a perfect mask of professional calm. Inside, a switch had been flipped. For 20 years, I've managed the front desk of this hotel, and I know every board, every pipe, every secret. I gave him my most accommodating smile. "Of course, sir. Let me see what I can do." I turned to my monitor. I did have an upgrade available. Oh yes, I had room 214, the Blackwood Suite. King bed, jacuzzi tub, a beautiful view of the pines, and a story that only my staff and I knew. He wanted the best we had, and in a way, that's exactly what I was about to give him. My name is Arthur Galloway. Most people call me Art. I'm the night manager at the Blackwood Lodge, and I've been here since they first cut the rigging on the place 2 decades ago. I'm the guy you see when you check in late, the calm voice on the other end of the phone when you need an extra pillow at 2 a.m. This place is more my home than my actual apartment is. I know the sound the boiler makes just before it kicks on, and I know which of the floorboards on the 3rd floor creak. A hotel, you see, is more than just a building. It's a living thing. It has moods, and like any living thing, it has good parts and less good parts. We have rooms that everyone loves. Corner rooms with extra windows, rooms where the afternoon sun just hits right. And we have rooms with a history. These aren't bad rooms, not in a way a guest would ever notice. The plumbing works, the TV is new, the bed is comfortable, but they carry a story. Room 307 is where a famous novelist had a complete breakdown and threw his typewriter out the window in '03. We still find little bits of glass in the flower beds below if we dig deep enough. Room 112 has a faint patch on the ceiling that looks like a map of Texas if you stare at it long enough. And then there's room 214, the Blackwood Suite. On paper, it's our best room outside of the presidential. It's spacious, with a little sitting area and a big stone fireplace. The view of the national forest from its balcony is the kind you see on postcards. But about 3 months ago, a college hockey team stayed with us after winning their regional championship. They rented that suite for their after party. What we found the next morning looked like a scene from a disaster movie. I'll spare you the worst of it, but the centerpiece of the carnage involved a stolen case of expired clam chowder and a dozen bottles of cheap tequila. It was comprehensive. My head of housekeeping, Maria, a woman who's seen everything and is afraid of nothing, almost quit on the spot. We had to bring in a professional hazmat cleaning crew, twice. They shampooed the carpets, deep-cleaned the furniture, ozone-treated the air. The room was inspected by 3 different managers. It was, by any and every metric, perfectly clean, spotless. But a place remembers. We know what happened in there. The story is baked into the walls. We call it the Chowder Suite among ourselves. We still book it, of course, but we never give it to the nice ones. It's reserved for a special kind of guest. The special guest that Saturday afternoon was a man who introduced himself as Mr. Vance. He looked to be in his late 40s, with that slick, overconfident air of a man who probably sells something nobody really needs. He strode up to my desk at 2:30 p.m., a half hour before check-in, slapped a platinum credit card on the counter and announced, "Vance, checking in." I smiled my professional smile,
Welcome to the Blackwood, Mr. Vance. I'm just pulling up your reservation now. I see you're in one of our Forest View Kings. An excellent choice. I checked the housekeeping report on my screen. It looks like your room is just in the final stages of inspection. It should be ready in about 20 minutes, right at our 3 o'clock check-in time. His face soured. I don't have 20 minutes. I have a call. The website said check-in was at 3, not after 3. Get me the room. I understand, sir. I apologize for the delay, I said, my voice even. As soon as housekeeping gives me the green light, I'll have your keys for you. He snatched his card off the counter and stormed off toward the lobby seating area, muttering about incompetence. This was not an unusual encounter. I get men like him all the time, men who think their importance in the outside world should bend the rules of this one. A few minutes later, the Peterson wedding couple came to the desk. They were young, nervous, and excited. They'd called the day before to request an early check-in if possible, as they needed to get ready for the rehearsal dinner. Their room had been prioritized. It was ready. I checked them in with a warm congratulations, and they went on their way, thanking me profusely. The moment they were out of sight, Vance was back at my desk, his face a mask of thunder. "What the hell was that?" he demanded, pointing a finger at me. "I was here first. You just checked those kids in. Are you telling me this hotel prioritizes people based on who you like better?" "Sir, that was a wedding party. They had a special arrangement with us yesterday for an early check-in, so we had their room prepared in advance." This was to him an unacceptable answer. An arrangement? I'm a Diamond-level rewards member. My arrangement is that I get what I want. This is the worst customer service I've ever experienced. I want to speak to your manager. "I'm the manager on duty this evening, sir. The general manager will be back on Monday." He let out a short, barking laugh. "That's just perfect. Unbelievable." He leaned in close, lowering his voice. "All right, here's what's going to happen. You're going to make this right. You're going to find me an upgrade on the house for this pathetic waste of my time. And it better be a good one."
I looked at Mr. Vance. I saw the sneer on his face, the absolute certainty that he could bully his way into getting anything he wanted. He didn't see me as a person. I was just an obstacle, a piece of the hotel machinery that wasn't functioning to his liking. And in that moment, all my professional patience, honed over 20 years of dealing with every kind of person, evaporated. Outwardly, I didn't flinch, but inside, I made a decision. He wanted an upgrade. He wanted the best. I would give it to him. I turned back to my computer, my fingers tapping on the keys with practiced efficiency. I made a show of looking through our system, my brow furrowed in concentration. "Well, sir," I said, my voice full of thoughtful hesitation, "we are very busy this weekend. I don't see any standard suites available." I let the sentence hang in the air. I saw him clench his jaw. "But, wait a minute," I said, as if just discovering something. "It looks like we may have had a last-minute cancellation. The Blackwood Suite. It's one of our premier rooms. It's a significant upgrade, of course, but under the circumstances..." His eyes lit up with greedy triumph. He knew he was winning. "The Blackwood Suite, huh? Is it good?" "It's our best appointed junior suite, sir," I said, the words tasting like honey and poison. "It has a king-sized feather bed, a sitting area with a fireplace, a full jacuzzi tub in the bathroom, and a private balcony with a beautiful, secluded view of the forest. It's usually reserved for our VIP guests." "That's the one," he said, snapping his fingers. "That'll do. Get the keys." I smiled. "Right away, sir. Let me just get everything coded for you." I took 2 key cards and swapped them through the encoder,
programming them for room 214, the Chowder Suite. The system beeped its confirmation. I slipped the keys into a small paper folio and slid him across the counter to him. "Enjoy your stay, Mr. Vance." My voice was perfectly even. "If there's anything else you need, please don't hesitate to call the front desk."
He grabbed the keys without a word of thanks and marched toward the elevator. I watched him go. I watched him jab the up button, straighten his tie, and tap his foot impatiently. He was a man who had gotten his way. He had bullied the little man behind the counter and was now being rewarded with the best room in the house. The elevator doors opened, and he stepped inside. And just before they closed, he caught my eye. He gave me a small, smug smirk. The doors slid shut. I stood there for a moment in the quiet lobby. I thought about him opening the door to room 214. I pictured him taking in the spacious layout, the impressive stone fireplace. I saw him walking out onto the balcony, admiring the pristine view of the pines and thinking about what a clever, powerful man he was. Then I imagined him setting his briefcase down on the very spot on the carpet where Maria's cleaning crew had spent 3 hours with a steam cleaner and a bioenzyme treatment. I imagined him running a bath in the big jacuzzi tub, the same tub it had taken a full bottle of industrial-grade bleach to properly sanitize. I imagined him laying his head down on a pillow, on a mattress that was perfectly clean, but had once been a silent witness to an act of gastronomic horror that the staff would talk about for years. He wouldn't know. He would never, ever know. He would sleep soundly in his prize, cocooned in his victory. But I knew, and Maria knew, and the 2 bellhops who had to help carry out the ruined furniture knew. The room's secret was our revenge. He was silent, it was clean, and it was perfect. He hadn't won an upgrade. He'd won a beautifully decorated, professionally cleaned, 5-star monument to a hockey team's digestive system. The next morning, Mr. Vance checked out. He dropped his keys on the counter without looking at me. "The room was adequate," he said, his tone dismissive, as if admitting it was nice would somehow diminish his victory over me. "I'm so glad we were able to accommodate you, sir. We hope you'll stay with us again." He just grunted and walked out the door. He was gone. The transaction was over. He left thinking he had put me in my place. He had no idea that I was the one who'd put him in his. Later that afternoon, during a quiet moment, Maria came by the front desk to drop off her daily report. "So," she said, not even trying to hide her grin, "Mr. Diamond Level in 214, he have a nice stay?" I said, "He found the accommodations to be adequate," and my grin spread across my face, too. Maria laughed, a deep, genuine laugh. "Adequate. That's good. The room deserves a little quiet time after its, excitement." We shared a look. It was a look of camaraderie, of a small, quiet justice delivered. No managers were called, no reports were filed. It was just a simple operational decision made by a man who knows his building. Vance had treated us like we were part of the furniture. It seemed only fitting that he spend the night in a room where we knew exactly what had happened to the furniture. I'm standing here now, in the quiet of a late Tuesday night. The hotel is breathing around me, a gentle hum of sleeping guests and humming ice machines. In my line of work, you learn that respect is the oil that makes everything run smoothly. Most people get that. They treat you like a human being, and you treat them like a valued guest. It's a simple, decent exchange.
But some people, like Mr. Vance, see the world differently. They see service people not as humans, but as functions. To them, I wasn't Art Galloway. I was front desk. And when a function doesn't perform to their liking, they kick it. What they don't understand is that the function has a memory. The hotel has a memory. And that memory is our power. My revenge wasn't loud or angry. It was quiet, professional, and completely invisible. Vance will never know he lost, but I know. And that's the only thing that matters. He got his free upgrade. He slept in a room with a beautiful view and a king-sized bed, and he'll never know what he was really sleeping in. They say you shouldn't be an asshole to the person who handles your food. The same is true for the person who gives you your shelter for the night, because we always have a special room waiting just for you.
Like and subscribe.